Hey everybody, this is Atticus at Death Metal Alert, and today is Autism Awareness Month, April. No, I'm not going to make any April Fool's joke or anything. This is straight up real talk. And the reason why I'm going to make this video is because, as a person myself who has been diagnosed with autism myself, I think it is safe to bring on my story of autism, how I dealt with it. So I'm going to tell you the whole story, my personal story of autism. So here we go. Now, when I was 2 years old, I was diagnosed with Pervasive Development Disorder, which is a mild form. Not that big of a deal to some people, but in my case, it was pretty hard to deal with. Pervasive Development Disorder pretty much is like you get into one topic and you can't stop, talking about it. All that jazz. But also it impairs social skills, as a lot of what autism does. It really does impair social skills. Now, I was diagnosed that because when I was 2 years old, I could not speak. And I was almost going to be one of those severe cases where most people with autism, with a severe case, they can't speak. So I was close to being one of those cases. And my mom found out about that. She did her research, and she didn't say, oh, I have a special needs child. She said, you know what? I'm going to give this child I'm going to fight to give this child a normal life. And that is what she said. That is what she told me. Now, if you're wondering how I learned to speak in the first place, I learned to speak when I was 3 years old due to a bag of M&Ms that a person who is a professional with autism had. And she was with me and my mom, and I said, Mama. So apparently everybody freaked out. My mom was having tears of joy, and yeah, I learned how to speak from that point forward. Now, school. Now, keep in mind, I was into the exceptional student education program because of my condition. And there were times where I was in my normal class, and my teacher said, hey, go to your other class right now. That was where I had my ESC classes taken care of. And basically it was just me learning about my social skills and just weird stuff, learning how to read and write and stuff. It was, all that stuff. I really didn't like it at all. But the normal kids in my classes, in my classrooms, they thought that I was weird. Which, of course, a person who doesn't understand autism, I looked normal, but I was sent to these classes where I was with a bunch of special needs kids, and, said, hey, let's just bully the crap out of him. So, yeah, I was bullied a lot. I was bullied due to the fact that I had special needs, and I was given special attention, unlike these people, and I was picked on a lot. There were cases where I was picked on, and I was not picked on a lot. But they happened a bit. Up until 5th grade, where everything was fine. They were a bit picking around, but I dealt with it. So, middle school. Middle school was a bit tough for me because there were a bunch of these. There were 3 kids, especially in 7th grade. I had these 3 kids gang up on me, especially when, in ESC classes, when you're in middle school or high school, you tend to have a lot of people who are troublemakers. And these guys were troublemakers, and they had problems themselves, but they basically just took it out on me because I was a goody two-shoes kid. Keep in mind, I was in a Catholic family, so I was pretty sheltered a lot. So I'll get to that in another video at some time. We're talking about my story with autism here, and to top it all off, Not these even though these kids were picking on me a lot, there was this other kid, and he was gay, and basically he was the worst. Now I am an advocate for LGBT rights, but this guy was pretty cruel to me, despite him being gay and all. Probably due to the fact that everyone found out that he was gay and they were picking on him, and so hey, why not pick on someone who is weaker than me, someone who has pervasive development disorder, aka me. And I was weird at that time, and he rode on my bus, and every time I talk and stuff, he would just say, Atticus, shut the fuck up. Nobody gives a shit about you. I try to block it off. I really did. But every time I came home, I cried. Same thing with high school. Now, high school, mind you, high school was where things really changed for me. All the people that I hung out with who were my friends, I did have a lot of friends when I was in elementary school and middle school. They decided to take separate paths, and we became very distant. Not to mention that, girls thought I was weird. They didn't like me and stuff due to my condition. And, yeah. But I remembered one time. When I was getting ready for school, my mom was watching the Today Show, and they were doing a segment on autism. And they were talking about, the same stuff that was going on with me. Because, I was sent to ESC classes, I was given medication to keep me focused in school, and I was a little bit skeptical on what was going on. And I said to my mom, Mom, do I have autism? And my mom turned to me and she said, no, Atticus, you don't. You're fine. But I knew deep down in my heart that sincerely, something was different about me. Something was wrong about me. I was not normal whatsoever. The revelation came when I was at my first IEP meeting in my freshman year in high school. An IEP meeting is where you get together with all your teachers in high school and your ESC advisor, and you talk about your future and stuff, and what you'll be doing after high school, and what programs would you be going to once you get out of high school. So, I had that gone on, and my mom said that, Atticus has autism and stuff. And when I heard that, I instantly flipped. I instantly stood up and said, what? You lied to me, Mom. You've lied to me. This is really hard to describe. Because when that revelation came, a million emotions came rushing through me, and just all the stuff that's been happening, all the people picking on me due to my disability, due to all the extra attention that I got, the medications, the lies, it hit me like a freight train, and I couldn't handle it. I broke down in tears in front of her, and I felt betrayed. It sucked. It really did. It sucked. And I was trying to hide up all the emotions, trying to hide away the tears when I was going to my next class. Now, thankfully, my older brother was there, and I couldn't handle it. I just broke down. Now, if I was alone, people would say, oh my gosh, what an emo kid, blah, 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 blah. But my older brother was there. He was there to comfort me. He says, dude, it's all right. I understand that you have this, and it's going to be okay. We're going to get through it. Now, that I respect my brother for that. But ever since that revelation, things turned for the worse. Because at that point in my life, I started to self-harm myself. And trust me, it is nothing to be proud of. Saying that you are proud of doing self-harm is nothing to take pride over. Now, if you want to know, you can barely see the scars. I have one right here. You can't see it, but it's a bit visible. The scars are healing, but the emotional damage is not, because I do get flashbacks of me doing self-harm. And I didn't do it for attention. I did it because I legitimately hated myself on what I became. Because I found out that I was autistic and that I'm this useless piece of shit. I was bullied due to it. And that I wished that my mom aborted me just to take away all that pain of learning that you're autistic. Now, this one occurrence where I legitimately wanted to kill myself. We were at a little test in ROTC. Now, it was just, just for random jobs that you'll be taking in the future. Not a big deal. You're just marking down stuff so that when you're out in the real world, you'll be employed and stuff. So, I was getting the results back, and I didn't get a pretty good grade. And I was a bit confused on what grade I got. And I said, what does this mean? What does this mean? Did I pass or not? And this one kid I knew came up and said, that means you're a fucking idiot. And I honestly really wanted to just, at that point, when I came home, I did a slashing spree. I took my knife and I carved my arms. And I said to myself, Christmas break comes, I'm gonna kill myself. I've had it. I've legitimately had it. With all the bullshit that I've been dealing with. And I, fucking hate myself anyway, so I'm just gonna go kill myself. Thankfully, my parents found out that I was doing self-harm. And they instantly sent me to therapy. They sent me to therapy. I was sent to a therapist who was phenomenal. He talked one-on-one on me and said, why are you doing this and stuff? And I said, well, legitimately, it's because I hate myself. And he's like, dude, and he was like, don't hate yourself for that. Your parents love you. And I understand that, you have this condition and it's nothing to be ashamed of. Now, the therapy, it did somewhat help, but it didn't really help out a lot. But I went to this other program later on when I was getting ready for my senior year. I was sent to this program called the Able Trust, or the Youth Leadership Foundation, where people who have disabilities, physical and mental disabilities, they were, that you're taught to be like, a leader in your own community. And I was a little bit shy, and I did not want to go because I did not want people to think that, I'm fucking retarded or anything like that. But I was into the program, and I had learned so much. I learned so much from people who had disabilities, who, they weren't ashamed of their disabilities, their flaws, or anything. They were like, I have this disability. It does not affect me. It does affect me, but it does not affect me on who I am as a person. I'm a human being. And I've learned so much from that. And I took new perspectives. I had new capabilities of, this is me. I have pervasive development disorder. I have a mild form of autism. And I'm proud of it. And, I have 2 jobs. I have a lot of friends. And I'm working on my film degree, and I have very high hopes for me. And, the moral of the story is, don't feel sorry about me for my, self-harming and all that stuff. The reason that I'm making this video is that, don't feel ashamed about yourself. You're perfect despite your imperfections. No matter what people say, how much they talk down on you, you can do it. This is to my audience, this is to my subscribers, or to anyone watching this who has autism, and they take in on what I said. You can do it. Despite your flaws, despite your disabilities, despite the fact that you're autistic, you can do it. You're perfect. Your imperfections make you beautiful. Because apparently if we were all perfect, we would all be boring. I'm fine with being imperfect. I'm fine with me not being perfect. Because it makes me a human being. It is who I am. And I'm okay with it. I mean, if there was a cure for autism, you'd probably say, oh, I would be going all ham on it. No. If there was a cure for autism, I wouldn't take it. Because you'd be killing the person that I am today. And I'm proud of my imperfections. I am proud that I am autistic. And I am proud of so much that I have done. And I think a lot of you should take in what I've said. Now, I'm Atticus the Death Metaler, and this is my story with autism. And if you want to know any other YouTubers who have autism, I know that Undertaker Freak 1127 has Asperger's, so I might put his video down on his issues, on his story with Asperger's as well. So again, I'm Atticus the Death Metaler. If you liked this video, please like it, subscribe to my channel, leave your comments below on your struggles with autism. As always, keep it metal. Have a wonderful day.